How do you see British politics, where the political spectrum is on the disperse and current climate possibly demands for activism? You've been an activist for decades. How do you see this society?
I think it's important to realise that politics, when it's broken, that is when you get people active in different spheres. So if, for example, services are being provided for the community doesn't need to do anything because it's getting its service. Currently, in my view, political system has failed, not just in UK but worldwide. When you look at the uprising around the world, this is because political parties, politicians are not serving the communities. They are serving big investors, institutions, or they're serving themselves.
So, Azam, because you've directly been involved in UK politics and serving the Kashmiri diaspora as well in UK, you've seen obviously different phases in politics, and it seems like a global trend at the moment where people seem a bit disconnected from the government. So is it not just UK, across the globe? Is this a system in power across different countries? What do you see?
Yeah, I think previously what we saw was in the UK, institutions were serving and politicians were hiding behind institutions. Now what we're seeing is a big breakdown in institutions. So for example, if you look at the police, in the past, policing never came under big scrutiny. Nobody criticised the police, for example. Where there were faults, people went to work and tried to rectify that. Now we are seeing, for example, recently you might have heard that London police were found to be racist, misogynist, and other forms of discrimination as well. Now, if the people that are supposed to be protecting us are openly being racist and misogynists, then who do we turn to? So institutions are failing, and the politicians are failing to make the institutions work. And that's why it causes people to rise up and become active in the sort of activities that they think they deserve better.
Yeah, so you've mentioned the political failure. I think we've seen political failure over the past as well. Is it because the media is powerful now and strong, and social media has a bigger influence as compared to in the past, or you feel there is a larger gap between the governments and the people on ground?
I think what you're seeing is in the past, the powerful people had other games to play. So, for example, they had other countries, other takeovers or businesses to sort of play with. Now, what you're seeing is very few people, the five people own most of the wealth in the world. Those five then control the media and everything else. And so what we're seeing now is people highlighting the inequalities, the discrimination, the unfairness, the injustice. Throughout the world it's happening, and people are rising up for it because people are not standing for it. And therefore people like myself and others who have been activists, we are seeing a very dangerous time. So the rise of the far right, for example, it's always been in UK. We've had the likes of National Front, English Defence League, we've had UKIP, we've had all sorts of racist parties getting involved. But now what you're seeing is people like Reform, they're not much different to these other organisations that existed. But what you're seeing now is their narrative, and the media is backing them, and therefore you're not able to combat them. And what needs to happen is activists need to engage with the neighbours, within their community. They need to become active so that we can understand what our concerns are. And by and large, the community whether they're white community, Asian community, or any other community, they suffer from poverty. They suffer from lack of services. If those services are not provided, then they will be angry. And that anger then comes onto the streets, that then becomes a problem. And therefore it's imperative that the activists join up and make sure that their concerns are raised with relevant politicians. So for example, if local services are not being delivered, you need to contact your local councillors. You need to make sure that they are working and listening to what your needs are, and then they try and deliver them.
So, okay, so you've mentioned activism and people should be activists. In your experience, what's the best starting point? Where did you start from your experience?
Well, I think everybody's an activist. It's just people have a different thing. So some people are active in sports, some people are active in family life, some people are active in social life. But what needs to happen is we need to understand that, even in our religion, everybody can look after themselves. It's what do you do for the community? So as a member of the community, you need to reach out to people who are unable to defend themselves, who may have no voice, who may need your help. So it's you working with them, trying to deliver what they need. For example, when I got involved in the local community back in the days, our service is very limited. The Pakistani Kashmiri community were unable to speak English. There were very few people who were able to fill in.
At the time, what was your primary motivation?
The motivation then was to provide that service for the community, so therefore they didn't lose out on any of the benefits or the opportunities that were there. So for example, job opportunities, we help people to fill in application forms to get better jobs. So those kind of services were needed, and for that you needed to have community centres, voluntary organisations. Those voluntary organisations then worked to provide that service that was lacking. At that time, not many people were able to utilise the access that's available nowadays via the internet, computer and things like that. So it was important for us to have those face-to-face chances so people could then improve their way of life.
So do you believe now, because activism can be on social media, activism can be on digital media, digital forms of activism, as well as, so in terms of mass mobilization and the protest with the flags, the far right rise, where do you see the community cohesion then? Going back to the actual activism, what it is in its different forms.
This is a breakdown of activism. What's happening, a lot of people are now relying on the mobile phone or on the computer. In the evening, as soon as they get home, the curtains are shut and they live in their own small world. In the days gone by, you had to rely on your neighbours and your family and other communities to create your entertainment and your way of life. That has broken down. We are not now we're not involving the community. There isn't that much community spirit. We need to get back to some of those basics. And I think where the community is active, i.e., there are community centres, there are community activities, there are, events that are organised amongst the communities from different faiths, different races, you'll see that many of those communities are very successful. Where people, draw themselves in onto the computers or onto the mobile phones, they are the people that are isolating themselves, and they are the ones that then cause problems because they're only complaining to themselves. They don't actually do anything about it.